All right, click the links to join the channel here over at subscribe to the various set links. I have a mailbox from mail me a comic. Somebody told me I should beg for Cash Grab by Cecil because they said it was excellent, and so here's my begging for Cash Grab. You can drop it in the mailbox. So Barbie with Margot Robbie. I want to put a title something like "Big Opening, No Legs," but I know how juvenile that is. But I mean that's who I am, so maybe it's accurate. I suspect that this movie is going to be not exactly over the top woke feminist cancer, but I don't think it's gonna. It's this. I don't think it's gonna perform the way that they seem to be thinking it's gonna perform, and where Hollywood is desperately pushing Barbie right now. Even Grace Randolph is pushing Barbie, and like I don't think that's a good sign if she thinks it's a new feminist icon or something. So Hollywood, in case you haven't noticed lately, is in the deepest of deep poop, and if Barbie bombs, that they really need several movies to do well because you want to maintain the infrastructure for Hollywood, and that would be the the theaters themselves and also the streaming services. You have to have the rising tide kind of thing, and Hollywood definitely has not had that. So they and the thing is, when the actors talk about the movie, they say everything you're not supposed to say about a movie. It just should be just a fun, silly comedy, but they're talking about how feminist it is. I'm sure the people at Mattel and Warner Brothers who are producing this are kind of slapping their heads like, this is the time to dial back the feminist stuff. So they're predicting a $110 million opening weekend. That sounds absolutely insane to me. Though I know, like the opening weekends now, it's because the premier theaters, what do you call it, like the not the big screen, the like the three dimensional and the what do you call those panoramic things? They open them on Wednesday and stuff, and Thursday or Thursday. It's like it just kind of gets silly and sillier. Where you, I think it would have been better with like a premium screen on Thursday and then open all films on Friday, and that should probably just be the industry standard. Anyway, I think that opening is way overrated. There's a double entendre. Instead, I think you got to look at the big picture because the mainstream media and social media is pushing Barbie and Oppenheimer to an extent it is not organic. Hollywood itself pushes obviously all their products they can, but the mainstream media, they will always give inflated interviews. I mean, sometimes it's comedically so when you look at the stuff they're trying to get out there. But the thing is, everyone understands that, and they know that when the customer reviews come out, it's going to be obviously more accurate because reviewers have to have access to those early movies, and if you give something a bad review, it's like, oh, your access dried out because you're too honest. So, I mean, people would probably tune into that, but it's like, well, then their review wouldn't be timely. But the thing is, people also are aware that reviewers are insanely left wing. And the thing is, even if they weren't, they just wouldn't be in the mainstream movie review industry because they wouldn't be getting access to films. That's why you get the lopsided professional reviews and customer reviews. Every review site is left wing, and they love movies that are just virtue signaling garbage. Because I mean, the people who are running those, Rotten Tomatoes types of sites, it's just as far left wing as globalists. So as the Hollywood globalists. So here's how I know Barbie is gonna bomb. The buzz around it is not organic at all. Hollywood needs more big films to get people back in the theater, and they're spending a stupid amount of money in marketing Barbie. And to be fair, there's a willing fair amount of sheep who are on board with like doing the propaganda for them. That's like wearing a company's product shirt, which is one thing if it's free, but if like, oh no, I paid for this shirt advertising a product, I look at that and like that is always struck me and a bunch of other people as very weird. It's like shouldn't they be giving you that shirt for free if it says Nike on it? Anyway, the thing is, look at Margot Robbie's track record. It's not great with some of the films she's had very recently. People like her as a person and an actor, maybe, but the movies like just haven't managed to catch on with people. It's like some of them have out and out bombed. Eventually, that negative stigma is going to catch up with you, and I think she had 3 bombs. Suicide Squads 1 and 2, and what was the other one that just came out? Birds of Prey. It's been a year or two, But like those movies, they should have been bigger hits. They're part of the name recognition for those things is insane, and the people have like good vibes from Margot Robbie. You had everything going for you. It's like, oh, so why didn't they do well? I mean, vaguely the umbrella term is just to call them woke, and I know that triggers the left, but it's like that's the umbrella term. And then on Twitter, they asked me to define it. I define it, and then they use an ad hominem. I'm like, why did you ask? It's like this. I'm giving you what is the definition for millions of people. It's like instant personal attack. I mean, it's really childish. Anyway, so she's had some bombs, and she herself is absolutely aware that Barbie needs to hit big or it's going to hurt her, which is why in the interview it's really funny because she's trying to make it sound like it's all things to all people, which is like nobody believes that one. That just sounds like a skit, a parody of an interview when you're saying yes, this movie's going to appeal to all markets. It's like was it Hillary Clinton in 2016? She's talking about like yes, everyone should support me. It's like I'm going to be all things to all people. It's like you're going to be whoever you are to the highest bidder. Anyway, so the thing is, how I know these movies are gonna. This movie is not. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's gonna bomb. I think there's enough energy for a big opening. But if you watch the promotional clips, they don't actually show you anything funny. I mean, unless you think that the scene with the beach off was funny. It's like, yeah, but that's not for kids. And I think it's like you get a vibe with promotional flicks previews that like something they're hiding something, and you see it with movies that bomb often enough. The thing is, there wasn't anything actually funny in those previews that I saw, and when she does the interview, she doesn't actually say anything concrete about what they're doing. It's just, oh, it's all things to all people. That's like and hey, good to know that the interviewer doesn't actually ask any questions. I don't mean hard questions, but I mean what it's like now is every interview is a softball interview. So the media is like so far removed from trying to be the media. Anyway, so the interview is kind of this somewhat panicked desperation to get people into the movie. Just talking around anything concrete. It becomes obvious after a few paragraphs. But everyone keeps pushing feminism in the film. All the actors who are being interviewed are saying what a feminist icon she's going to be. That shows that you lack the self-awareness to understand that this is the opposite of what you want to do. I mean, that's when you're really deep in an echo chamber where, which Hollywood actors are. They have, I mean, who was it? Chris Rufio or Mark Ruffalo was posting a picture of himself on the strike lines, and he's wearing like paint splattered pants and a t-shirt. And people are going like, look at me, I'm pretending to be poor. It's like, I have no doubt that people who are also incredibly wealthy, they still might occasionally paint an interior room or might even paint the exterior if it's not that much. It's like, yes, wealthy people do occasionally do that kind of stuff, but it's like, so you painted, you had the clothes and you decided to wear them to the strike, the protest. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, or I mean, worse would be like he's an artist at home and he's painting in front of an easel or something. Like nobody buys this kind of thing. The thing is, they don't know how people really view them. That self-awareness is super lacking, and the actors have no idea why woke feminist films routinely bomb. If there's an exception to a girl power movie that didn't bomb, I guess they're hoping Barbie's going to be that exception, and also that they dialed down the feminist propaganda, that it has a good weekend. The thing is, when they're trying to come up with reasons why these movies have not been doing so well lately, they come up with every reason except the main one. And maybe this will be a chick flick that hits, but chick flicks that hit are pretty rare. I'm just trying to say, like, the probability against this movie doing what they're saying it's doing, I think there's a lot going against it. Because like the Captain Marvel, there was a reason that did $1 billion, because it was the prequel before the biggest movie in history. And what was the other one? Titanic. It's like, well, that was a long time ago, and that wasn't a comedy. It was a dramatic romance. Anyway, the thing is, they can't bring themselves to admit that woke is a problem. And the thing is, they don't actually care what the audience wants or if the movies even make money. Hollywood's motive isn't money, or else they go back to making films like they did pre-2020 BLM riots or Trump 2016. Those are pretty important points on Hollywood's timeline. Or if you get in the future and you look like, so what caused the implosion of Hollywood or like a massive restructuring? It's like, well, Trump 2016 was probably loosely the things that kind of set these forces in motion. So the thing is, not like making fun movies. That's absolutely not on the table from the mainstream. Either the people who create the films or the distribution of those, streaming companies. That's just not going to happen. And, don't you think it's weird that you don't get a single unpolitically correct film in current year? You don't think a film like, one was something about Mary made like 20 years ago? Or God, even the original not the original Charlie's Angels, but the Carmen Diaz Charlie's Angels. Like, you don't think those movies would if they came out something that was not ironic, but what would you call it, like counter the narrative. The narrative now is so super woke. Because if you came out with something where you had three sexy chicks who were prancing around in like short shorts going on their adventure, and something that was just totally unexpected, it's like, call me crazy, I suspect that movie would do really, really well, even if like, oh, we couldn't possibly do it, it's politically incorrect. Yeah, you could do it if you wanted to. I mean, that's the brutal truth is, yes, you could make it, you could find investors, and it would be distributed. Yes, you could do that if you wanted to, and it would make money. They're not doing it because money is not their freaking. This was a scene about there. The humor was about the two guys like enjoying each other. It was gross, and it's like that's not a kids movie, and most men are not going to be on board with this. I was like, I know they're hoping for the over 20-year-old female audience. It's like that just is rare that it pulls in enough to make a movie profitable. Anyway, the thing is, Hollywood doesn't need money, at least not for a while, until the old properties and the rare hits that they do have occasionally will subsidize the bombs. There's going to be a tip over point for companies. And Disney's sitting on a lot of cash. They have a long time to go. So people are also saying that the Mission Impossible underperformed, because those are kind of the three films that are at issue right now. Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Mission Impossible. And you think, wait, Hollywood's bigger than that. Shouldn't there be more films that Sound of Freedom too, but that's only like $100 million movie. It's just not in the same financial category. The thing about Mission Impossible is I suspect it has legs, where I really doubt that Barbie has legs. The Sound of Freedom is taking some of the audience away from MI7, but it's not exactly because so many people are seeing it. It's like it's only made $100 million. I don't know what the budget was. Budget was probably pretty small. It's only made $100 million, which is amazing for Angel Studios. It's very profitable for them, and it's great for their studios. But that's not a big hit, obviously, for Hollywood overall. The problem is that so many people are talking about Sound of Freedom. It's become a left versus right thing. A woke versus anti-woke type of thing. It's absorbing a lot of social media buzz away from all these kind of these other kind of movies, and the timing is wrong for all these other movies, because it's like a big part of they're not a big part, but there's a part of getting people to see movies kind of to own a certain side, or like as a virtue signal or something. Which I kind of felt that Top Gun Maverick, there might have been some of that kind of energy at that for kind of the right wing stuff. So here's the difference between Indy 5 Dial of Destiny, which was the same budgeted movie as MI7, both over $300 million ish, and why MI7 is going to have legs is because the Indy 5 was a fundamentally bad movie, and MI7 isn't. It's what the viewer expects for the series, where the Indy was not what the viewer expected. It was a departure. You deconstructed the characters. Like, well, why are we going to go see? Like, you're creating an entirely new genre with a deconstructed Indy, and they go, well, that doesn't make sense. It's like you've just told the same story over and over again, but you're telling it worse than what it started in 1981. And like, this was people really like the character Indiana Jones. They don't want to see him deconstruct. It's like, we're going to do it anyway. Okay, so you're going to lose $200 million. Why would you do that? That's a big loss for Disney. Look at Disney, like, so is anyone going to like get fired for that, or like be held accountable for that? No, probably not. They're just going to they're just going to continue to fail upwards. Like, really, it's $200 million. You'd think someone would be let go. I don't know who was pulling the strings on that. Does she have a name? Has she been responsible for Disney underperforming lately? No, she's going to be fine. where he's going to. It seems really weird. Like money is not your motivation. You're motivated by something else. It's like, yeah, they're a bunch of godless commie vermin. They're motivated by pushing propaganda. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks everyone over subscribe star in the mailbox, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.